On July 23, 2026, Britain opened number 10 North in Manchester, a government hub 165 miles north of Westminster. Prime Minister Andy Burnham called it a North Pole that balances the South Pole. This 1980 commercial block, a GCHQ secure site since 2019, is now a permanent seat of UK government. But will power truly shift north? The moment. The astrological chart for noon on July 23, 2026, in Manchester, reveals an institution born with ambition and competence, yet carrying a fundamental wound. The Sun, representing leadership, in proud Leo in the 10th house of government, signals a confident launch. But this Sun precisely squares Chiron, the asteroid of wounding and healing. This means its claim to authority comes with vulnerability. Bold North Pole rhetoric invites pushback. Challenging Westminster means a fight. Jupiter, planet of law and expansion, also in Leo in the 10th house, suggests legitimate authority. Yet, 3 days prior, Jupiter opposed Pluto, planet of deep power. This highlights expansion confronting entrenched power. A new government seat can open, but Britain's deep power structures, the Treasury, the civil service, centuries of London-centric machinery, won't simply relocate. Mars, at 17 degrees Gemini, conjuncts Rigel, a star of teaching and technical brilliance. This indicates genuine competence beyond rhetoric. Mars in communicative Gemini, in the 9th house, suggests an institution designed for intellectual curiosity and global engagement from its northern base, not just mimicking London. The ascendant, dictating public image, is at 9 degrees Libra, conjunct Vinda Matrix, a star linked to loss and wisdom through hardship. This implies its public face carries a quality of separation from London, from old ways. Its wisdom will come through friction. While Libra rising presents a diplomatic image, the star suggests this balance will come at a cost. The South Node, exactly conjunct Regulus, the royal star, watcher of the North, is also present. Regulus offers leadership and honor, but conditionally, pride leads to a fall. The South Node represents what's released. The North is literally in this star, but it sits on a point of culmination. The northern power claimed is both a gift and a test. With humility it endures. With pride, a fall will be swift. The broader astrological climate for this birth is cooperative. Harmonious outer planet alignments cluster around the opening. Uranus trine Pluto on July 18th, Neptune sextile Pluto on July 25th, Uranus sextile Neptune on July 15th, and Jupiter trine Neptune on July 20th. This means reform of Uranus is supported by deep transformation of Pluto and idealism of Neptune. This window allows structural change and visionary thinking to align. The global mood is restless but not crisis-focused, allowing new structures to take root. This chart isn't born into a storm, but into a period open to innovation. However, the market mood is more cautious. The Bradley Siderograph, tracking market temperament, is near its peak but already falling. The announcement lands at a market mood peak, set to become more critical. The weeks after the opening will face a more skeptical, cost-conscious public than the launch week itself. What it touches. The connection to the United Kingdom reveals political specifics. Number 10 North's Mars, representing action and friction, is exactly opposite the UK's natal Mercury, which rules communications and the press. This means the institution's activities will directly challenge how Britain communicates. Expect the London-based press to be number 10 North's most persistent critic. This isn't paranoia, it's a structural tension. Number 10 North's Moon, reflecting the public mood, squares the UK's Saturn, representing the state apparatus and the old order. The public sentiment fueling Burnham and number 10 North clashes with the British state's institutional machinery. The people want it, the machine resists. This tension will define the first year. Yet, healing influences exist. Number 10 North's Neptune trines, the UK's Chiron, and its Pluto sextiles the UK's Chiron. Chiron represents a wound, and in the 1801 Union chart, it symbolizes the deep hurt of regional imbalance. These harmonious aspects suggest the institution genuinely addresses that wound, indicating real healing for the Union's oldest grievance. The connection to 10 Downing Street is both subtle and significant. Number 10 North's Neptune squares Downing Street's Jupiter. The new institution's idealism directly challenges the old seat's authority and legal framework. The vision of a balanced Britain doesn't complement Westminster, it confronts it on principle. However, number 10 North Saturn sits precisely on Downing Street's south node, and opposite its true node. The new institution's structure plants itself where Downing Street's past meets its future. Power doesn't just move north, it forks. The connection to Manchester is almost entirely harmonious. Number 10 North's Uranus trines Manchester's Lilith, and its Pluto also trines Manchester's Lilith. Lilith represents the raw, marginalized aspects of a place. The institution's reforming energy of Uranus and transformative power of Pluto both flow into Manchester's historically marginalized side, connecting with what Manchester has been excluded from: national power. Number 10 North's true node also trines Manchester's Chiron, meaning the institution's future aligns with healing the city's old wound. But Neptune opposes Manchester's Lilith. The institution's idealism could also dissolve or co-opt Manchester's unique raw edge. The risk isn't Manchester rejecting number 10 North. It's number 10 North stripping the city of its distinctiveness. The connection to Andy Burnham shows a Mars-to-Mars square, indicating friction between the institution's drive and the Prime Minister's. His Mercury opposes the institution's Sun, meaning his communication challenges its core identity. And number 10 North's true node squares his Neptune, implying the institution's future will test his idealism. The embodied energy chart clarifies their working relationship. Number 10 North has initiating energy, while Burnham's design is responding and sustaining. Together they form a split definition pairing, energizing each other without fully merging. 3 channels activate only when together: intuition in the moment, the initiated spirit, and closeness and its terms. This means they can achieve decisive, fast communication, but it's a working relationship, not a merger. The split means gaps will require a bridge, a third party or infrastructure to maintain flow. The connection to Herrenhaus, particularly its GCHQ past, is the most complex layer. Herrenhaus's story moves from commercial in 1980 to GCHQ site in 2019 to government seat in 2026. Each rededication layers a new inception. The 2019 GCHQ chart shows a building for secrecy. The 2026 number 10 North chart overlays this. The tightest aspect is an exact Saturn to Saturn square. Saturn governs structure. This exact square means the new institution's fundamental structure directly confronts the building's past. A building for classified work is now asked to house open, democratic power. The layer of secrecy doesn't vanish, it remains. The embodied energy chart for this pairing shows number 10 North, initiating with a single definition, meeting Herrenhaus, which is responding with a single definition. Together, they remain a single definition pairing. 4 channels activate only in this pairing: opinion made precise, creative contribution, the stubborn search for meaning, and moody provoking spirit. This creates capacity for precise work, but also a stubborn, potentially moody quality when their natures clash. Crucially, neither number 10 North nor Herrenhaus possesses the head center, the engine of inspiration. Neither generates its own vision. Inspiration must come from outside. A building that spent years as a GCHQ site learned to watch, listen, and keep secrets. Now housing democratic government, it will absorb the character of its occupants because it lacks fixed inspiration. This open center as absorber means the building takes its color from its users. So, what does a watchful, secretive building bring to housing open democratic power? Herrenhaus's Mercury trines number 10 North's Neptune, meaning the building's communication supports the institution's idealism. However, number 10 North's Mars squares Herrenhaus's Neptune, meaning the institution's drive meets the building's capacity for dissolving or concealing. The building's instinct to classify will always pull against democratic openness. When stories break or questions arise, the building's old instincts and the institution's new obligations won't align. The question isn't if number 10 North can be open, it's if the building will allow it. How it rolls forward. The first month will see harmonious outer planet alignments do their most useful work. The total solar eclipse on August 12, 2026, at 20 degrees Leo, in the same sign as the institution's Sun and Jupiter, suggests number 10 North's initial weeks will quickly clarify what it truly is. Not what was claimed, but what it functionally becomes. The Jupiter trine Saturn on August 31st, law and expansion harmonizing with structure, indicates early September is when the institution finds its first real footing. This is its first moment of structural solidity. The partial lunar eclipse on August 28th at 4 degrees Pisces falls near the institution's 6th house Pisces cusp. the house of daily services, workers, and the civil service. This suggests the first true test comes not from politics, but logistics, staff, routines, and the grind of governing from two locations. The vitality lens on number 10 North's chart is revealing. Its dominant element is fire, meaning it runs on energy and conviction, but risks burnout. The least resourced element is earth, indicating practicalities may slip. With Pisces on the 6th house cusp, there's idealism in daily operations, but also a proneness to dissolving, unclear boundaries, and vagueness. By late November, the Barbault cyclic index peaks, and Uranus trines Pluto again on November 29th. This period marks the first potential for real political friction. The global mood is restless, and reforming energy is at full strength. A Manchester commuter who saw the building open in July might, by November, ask what has actually changed. The annular solar eclipse on February 6, 2027, at 17 degrees Aquarius, falls close to number 10 North's Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius, in the same sign. Pluto represents deep power. An eclipse in Pluto's sign suggests the institution's first true reckoning with the depth of power it has claimed. This is the moment for a confrontation between the symbolic North Pole and the real one, a test of whether the institution has teeth or just a postcode. Jupiter trine Saturn returns on April 3, 2027, and again on July 11, 2027. These dates are the institution's best windows for consolidation. The June and July 2027 period brings another cluster of harmonious outer planet aspects, a repeat of the energy that surrounded its birth. This suggests the first year concludes as it began, with a window of structural possibility. However, the Bradley Siderograph reveals a tougher financial reality. It trends downwards through the year. The institution is born into a fiscally cautious climate. Every announcement will be met with less public patience. The public will measure number 10 North, not by rhetoric, but by whether life becomes cheaper, easier, or more secure. The chart says the vision is real, the market mood says patience is thin. Summary. Number 10 North is born into a rare period of harmonious support for structural reform. However, it carries a core tension between its ambitious public image and the secretive building it occupies. Its success depends less on the stars and more on whether the people inside it can transform a powerful symbol into a functioning institution. So, what should we keep an eye on? Watch the first 2 weeks of August 2026, because the total solar eclipse on August 12 will clarify what number 10 North functionally becomes. Watch the London press, as number 10 North's Mars opposing the UK's natal Mercury means the media will be its most persistent structural critic. Watch the building's old instincts, because the exact Saturn to Saturn square between the GCHQ chart and the government chart means the tension between secrecy and openness is built into its walls. Watch early September 2026, where Jupiter trines Saturn on August 31st, marks the first window for the institution to find structural footing. Watch February 2027, when the annular solar eclipse on February 6th will bring the first real test of whether the institution has true depth. And finally, watch the market mood. The Bradley Siderograph trends downward through the year, meaning each announcement will be met with less patience than the last. The North Pole is written into this chart by a royal star, but the star's gift is conditional, and the building remembers what it was. Recent history and where this is heading. This relocation is not just a geographic shuffle, it mirrors a broader cosmic struggle to build something secure on shifting ground under the influence of Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries. This slow-moving alignment, currently acting as a catalyst for total ideological renewal, usually signals a crisis of renovation. With Aries representing the spark of action and the self, the symbolism suggests the friction between London and Manchester is inevitable. The old rigid institutions are being forced to dissolve before they can be rebuilt, creating a volatile atmosphere where the drive to innovate fights against deep-seated, watery vested interests and media skepticism. The cosmic weather will shift soon, offering a brief window of relief. By mid-July, the blue sky aspect Jupiter trines Saturn will rise. The symbolism implies this moment of luck and structure could momentarily stabilize the brittle economy and government morale, allowing the new administration to gather its footing. However, this calm may be short-lived. In late August, a series of powerful solar eclipses will light up the sky, likely forcing transparency issues into the open. The symbolism suggests these illuminating events will pressure the state to reveal the hidden fractures in its foundation that have been growing since the new year. A word from the channel. If you find this useful, hit subscribe and leave a like. It keeps us tiny and independent, so drop a comment with the problem you need tackled if you want to help. I'll hand you over to Tasha, who is going to pull the cards for this same story next. Thank you for that beautiful astrological groundwork from Ruby. Now, let's take this story to the cards and see what they reveal about the heartbeats and the tensions moving between these three seats of power. First party. No. 10 North, the Magician. Your new institution, a force of pure will, is the Magician, ruled by Mercury. He has all the tools, mirroring the technical brilliance and communicative skill of Mars in Gemini conjunct Rigel. His true strength is confidence, the North Pole ambition made flesh, that Sun in Leo pride. Yet, the Magician's power needs focus. With the sky's planets void of course, momentum has paused, demanding intense internal drive. Second party, United Kingdom, 1801 Union. Knight of Cups. The Union is reflective. The Knight of Cups, a watery energy, carries an offering but moves slowly. This reflects the Jupiter-Neptune trine in the sky, a moment of idealistic reflection for the nation. This isn't decisive action, but an invitation being considered. The UK's role is to receive this cup from the north, while its deep structures, that hard boundary shown by the Saturn square from No 10 North's moon, remain firmly in place. Third party, 10 Downing Street, 7 of Cups, reversed. Downing Street faces a flurry of visions, but the 7 of Cups reversed shows confusion and choice overload. Those strange chalices of vision are murky. This echoes the square from No 10 North's Neptune to Downing Street's Jupiter, where the new institution's ideals cloud the old seat's power. The reversal suggests a failure to grasp what's real. This fits a Venus void of course, as its capacity for charm and diplomacy is simply in coasting mode. First and second, the Devil. This is the structural bind. The Devil, ruled by Saturn, signifies tangible chains and obligations. This is that exact Saturn to Saturn square between 9, 10 North and Herrenhaus's GCHQ past. The chain is the building's secretive history and the weight of the old state machinery, combined with the unavoidable scrutiny of the London press, that Mars opposite UK Mercury. Power and the nation are locked in a challenging embrace. Second and third, the Empress, reversed. Between the UK and Downing Street, the flow is one of stalled nurture and blocked creation. The Empress reversed embodies fertility, but in her reverse state, she indicates a system that isn't providing. This speaks to the cautious market mood, the falling Bradley Siderograph, and that crisis of renovation from Saturn-Neptune. The old relationship between the state and its traditional heart is barren, creating the vacuum number 10 North seeks to fill. First and third, 8 of Cups, reversed. Between No 10 North and Downing Street, there's a deliberate turning away, but it's stuck. The 8 of Cups reversed typically represents the walk into the mountains, leaving the old behind. But reversed, the journey is incomplete. This is the fork in power I saw. The new institution's destiny squares Downing Street's Neptune, meaning their futures are at odds. This incomplete departure means old patterns and Lundocentric pulls will persistently haunt this new path. The heart of the web, the Fool. At the core is pure, untethered potential. The Fool, ruled by Uranus. This embodies the Uranus-Pluto trine in the sky. Revolutionary new beginnings and deep structural risk. The Fool carries no baggage, only possibility. This is the innovative window the chart is born into. But the Fool also doesn't see the cliff, representing the blind faith and build it and see energy that ignores challenges. The entire enterprise is driven by this brave, naive, utterly necessary leap. Where the web turns, the moon, reversed. This is where the dynamic is headed, into revealed illusion. The moon reversed, ruled by Pisces, speaks to subconscious fears and hidden agendas. In this position, what was lurking comes to light. This directly forecasts that August eclipse season forcing transparency issues into the open. The secretive nature of Herrenhaus and vague ideals, all this will be exposed. The path forward is through disillusion, seeing the machinery behind the glamour, for better or worse. Summary. This spread reveals a profound clash between bold new ambition and entrenched old structures. While the Magician and the Fool drive a revolutionary, untethered leap forward, the Devil and the Moon reversed remind us that hidden agendas and historical binds will ultimately be forced into the light. The path ahead demands navigating these illusions carefully, for the success of this new institution relies on breaking chains it cannot yet fully see. A word from the channel. Thank you for taking the time to join me for this entire journey through your personal stars. Because I'm still growing this little community, every like and subscriber genuinely helps me bring you more readings. So please do leave a comment sharing what topics you'd like to explore next. I appreciate your support, and I wish you all the very best.